Welcome to Cheese's third challenger. His reign is actually getting like a little on the long side. Not anything crazy like Love Nest's 23 challenger reign, clearly, but at least it's some measure of stability here, and I think this will be his first real test, or at least semi-real test. He's not against Love Nest, for example, but he is against Barton, and we know Barton is quite skilled, although of course he, like many players, prefers to deviate from the meta, and so does Cheese, so we might actually see some pretty interesting play here. Barton going to actually, this game however, apparently try quite hard, because he just went guard motor coordination at the very beginning. And Cheese is not messing around either, having chosen Lightning War right off the bat, so it looks like in game one, they're both going to go pretty meta, pretty full meta, try and size each other up, see how tough their opponent really is. Two Grenadier opening from Cheese, heading hard left, and Barton going with an extra combat engineer so that he can back cap with one squad while his initial squad goes straight for the building here.
We have more conscripts at our disposal. Conscripts here.
Conscripts making their way towards the strategic point in this area, throwing down some sandbags. Combat engineers moving to take the victory point here.
We have been spotted.
Sandbags going up. Combat engineers in the building continue to maintain vision of the area. Interesting sandbag placement, by the way, is going to protect against any infantry crossing the road right there. Interesting, interesting play. I've not seen that before. Grenadiers jump into green cover here. Combat engineers working the right side. These two squads will cross the road, encounter one squad of Grands at medium range. That squad will definitely have to retreat. This squad of pilots continues taking the fuel, but that Grenadier squad is screwed. Combat engineers in this building can't hold the line forever. Grenadiers in green cover will eventually win that engagement, but there goes that squad of Grenadiers. Apparently they dropped two conscript models before retreating with one loss of their own, so they actually traded cost effectively right there. Although without access to healing, they will be quite wounded for their next engagement. Combat engineers haven't lost any. I don't know, they're actually doing kind of okay in this engagement, surprisingly. There are four windows from which they're engaging right now. I feel like if those Grenadiers maybe shuffled a little bit further south into these green cover slots right here, these north-facing windows wouldn't be usable. Something to think about on this map. I'm not sure. I don't know if that would be a more effective spot to engage from or not, because they might actually, some models might lose cover if they went too far south. Conscripts making their way up the road. More Grenadiers move towards this engagement, but I think conscripts in the area may be able to jump into that building in place of those combat engineers right there.
Enemy is engaging us. Soldiers ready.
These conscripts taking control of the left side VP. This squad decapping this point. And another squad oorahing up from the south and from the west. Oh, I don't know if there's anything Cheese could do to win this engagement. The machine gun sets up facing south, and all squads will get clear of the arc of fire. And they're all completely forced to retreat. Nice three-wave flank by Barton right there. Perfectly timed and executed. He did have to use Oorah to get himself in range, but everything there will be forced to retreat off the battlefield. One squad of Grenadiers moving up to do what it can.
Tired of this shit.
Conscripts engaging against these Grenadiers at this range. Their optimal range, but they started with only 4 models. Grenadiers are also already wounded though. It looks like the Grenadiers might win this if they can just snipe a couple. There they go. Engagement is won. Conscripts need to retreat.
The enemy is taking what we have secured. We are taking losses. Conscripts under attack.
These Grenadiers taking control of the fuel point over here on the right side. Combat engineers take control of this. Currently, Barton has excellent map control, and the victory points are still 500 up for him, which is a good position to be in. Have both fuel points and 500 VPs. This squad will be forced to retreat right here. Conscripts pulling back slightly from those flamethrower Pios, not wanting to get burst by a flamethrower. And Barton has gone tier 1
The enemy has us
into an M3.
We
M3
have
hitting
an
the field
isolated
now,
sector.
and he will purchase a flamethrower of his own. Conscripts backpedal as far as they can and will win that engagement easily. Flamethrower Pios have to retreat after inflicting no kills on that squad.
This is our sector now.
And Grenadiers will finally move to get control of this fuel point. MG42 going down right here. There's one wounded Grenadier squad right there. If that gets caught by the M3, there is a very good chance of a wipe. But it's going to head right to try and chase off this squad, which Barton knows is alone. It retreats immediately upon seeing the M3 right there. And there's a very good chance of a wipe right here. Okay. Really?
Area secure. God's troops ready for action.
Bye. And they do get wiped. Two, 2-1 on the field. These two squads moving to flank the MG42 right there. Scout car trying to, ooh, takes a Panzerfaust right there. We'll try and have to pull that to safety. No 222 upgrade on the scout car right there. And he's trying to pull that back to safety. M3 is in serious danger. This could be a huge engagement right here. Flamethrower jumps out of the scout car, will get destroyed. The smoke screen might protect the flamethrower. All these infantry do not have access to AT grenades. Trying to kill that machine gun on the retreat, but the scout car is pushing them around. And he does get wiped, unfortunately. So I don't, however, know if Barton will be able to recover that. A lot of his squads are heavily wounded, but there's guards on the field to push away the scout car. Once that happens, Barton may be able to make a successful attempt at recovering that machine gun. If he can steal that, he'll be in a huge lead. But it doesn't look like he's going to make any attempt to do so. Just continuing to work the victory points in the left half of the map right now, while a lone combat engineer squad takes all territory over here. So Pios will get that machine gun back under their control.
The enemy is taking our territory. We have liberated the objective. Taking fire. Engineers ready.
Squad's gonna have to pull back to safety. Off the fuel point. There they go.
Territory is in our hands.
It is now under our control.
DP-28 LNG ready.
We are losing territory.
This squad making its way right should be able to push away those grenadiers. Combat engineers engaging against Grens.
Squad at full strength. Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
And there's the retreat. Combat engineers move to get the victory point under control. Barton maintains 500 victory points. He has not lost a single VP yet. And he seems to be doing quite well in engagement. Scout car is fully repaired.
Grenades now
We'll
available
move
all
to engage
conscripts.
on the left side. Nice cutoff maneuver by these grenadiers. And guards may lose building control to those flamethrower piles.
Grenadier squad is
And
ready.
consequently lose the game. No Molotov research. He does have AT grenades now. Without Molotovs, he cannot force his opponent from these buildings easily. This green cover car right here has been destroyed. And these conscripts are falling quite low, but might be able to get control of that cutoff back. Guards don't want to get too close to the building if they can avoid it. Here comes the anti-building counter. Flamethrower from the south. Try and push Cheese out of this structure. Meanwhile, lone squad of guards trying to harass left. Might be able to push those Pios back a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff over here to counter that one squad of guards. Everything circling back towards this building. Of course, retreats will be successful. Pios and grenadiers forced off the field. But a couple of Barton squads are going to retreat for reinforcement as well.
Not one step.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands. Fresh Guards troops are standing by.
You need light anti-tank support?
That's right. Loveness is more than a king. He's more than an emperor. He's a god.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
He is a god king transcendent
Infantry fire incoming!
beyond our mortal understanding.
Look out, grenade!
We can only hope to one day be as powerful as Love Nest once was.
Killing us!
I honestly will be astounded if anybody in all of Starcross King's history, however long I run this tournament, will ever be able to stack up more than 23 challengers defeated. That is a legendary reign. I still can't believe it.
Guard squad ready.
Fresh meat has arrived.
Germans on the attack! You need us!
Guards engaging a machine gun frontally. Do not quite get clear of the arc fire. We'll simply retreat right there. Conscripts take control of the left side munitions. The clock is actually ticking against Barton right now. So a 500 VP victory is no longer possible. Guards engaging against Pyos over here. Push them back slightly. There is a half track on the field in addition to a scout car, which against 3 guards is a little tough.
Enemy is encroaching on our
See if you
territory.
can make that work. If any of those vehicles gets engine damage from an AT grenade, pretty good chance of it being destroyed. Barton is not making a coordinated push for either side of the map currently. He's just working on territory with light harassment from a few squads on all fronts. Guards are just sort of poking at grenadiers at medium range in open ground, which means they're probably trading quite cost effectively, but they're also being out reinforced. And eventually they're going to be forced to retreat by manpower bleed. I'm not sure if Barton even realizes there's a half track right there. Probably didn't have vision of it. He's probably like, how come these grenadier squads keep healing? No mines down from Barton either, so he's not going to punish behavior like that by that scout car. Over here on the left side, conscripts taking control of the fuel. Conscripts trying to pressure those grenadiers away. This squad gets pinned on the fuel point. Meanwhile, combat engineers doing light harassment. Demo charge on the cutoff house. Nice demo. Guards and flamethrower making their way right to maybe try and put pressure on that half track. Meanwhile, flanking squad of conscripts will force everything to retreat right there, and there's a 222 upgrade for that scout car. Apparently, these conscripts throwing AT grenades damage that thing's engine. There's no guards or anything around, so I don't know if that's going to make that big of a difference. Flamethrower. Oh no! That flamethrower's going to die, I think, right? No? Wow, they didn't die. I didn't even know that was possible. Building didn't get destroyed quite. Meanwhile, the engagement up here, we'll see everything retreating. Half track being microed a little lazily. Oh no, it might go down. PTRSs don't seem to fire. One fires, half track trying to pull back. Scout car also needs to pull back after forcing a retreat from those conscripts. I am amazed that flamethrower survived that demo charge. Barton definitely could have killed it while they were still getting in the building. Unfortunately, he wasn't paying close enough attention and the squad gets away, so it's wasted munitions, sort of. Although it does push them off of his cutoff, and he's starting to take a territory very aggressively. Takes control of both of these buildings with guards, which will be a nightmare to unseat. This will also be difficult to push away. Conscripts set up in green cover over here. So Barton is setting up a pretty scary front line with 3 guards and a mortar on the field now, plus combat engineers heading right to get this fuel under control. And Cheese is clearly struggling against hard guard spam. Conscripts push away that machine gun, getting away quite narrowly. They will not be able to hold this position against this much stuff. Machine gun soft retreats to a half track where it will be able to reinforce, and G43s upgraded on these grenadiers will allow them to be a slightly more effective, aggressive squad, charging into close range at minutes and cover and forcing retreats.
MG element ready. Red Army at your service.
Slightly better. Conscripts taking control of this strategic point will be able to take control of some territory over there. Guards continue to simply hold the line in these houses, and clearly anything that gets too close will go down very quick. Both light vehicles working the right side need to be careful. There is a squad of guards over here. There are AT grenades over here. No mines though, fortunately. Scout car soaks up a little bit of damage, and the heavy mortar starts softening up squads that are trying to take territory here on the left side. Meanwhile, on the right, combat engineers continue slowly taking everything under their control, and the clock looks like it's going to start ticking against Cheese again soon. But the victory point clock hasn't really moved that much this game. Nice wipe right there, apparently. Pios go down. MG42 also needs to retreat from a flanking flamethrower, and the force of infantry on the left side is looking weaker and weaker. Just guards in green cover. Seems to be all it takes. I think Cheese might benefit from a mortar, but it will be manpower he has to spend. And it does its work slowly. He's going to need to find some way to get Barton out of cover and out of buildings, off of his cutoff. He's just not going to have any resources coming in at all. Meanwhile, Barton's up to 250 fuel and will be able to field Collins this game easily once he hits 10 CPs, which will be quite soon. And the loss of any light vehicle will rapidly accelerate that CP meter. So be very careful to preserve those if he doesn't want those T-34s to arrive too ridiculously soon. Late retreat on that flamethrower squad. G43s will snipe it, and Grenadiers will get control of that flamethrower. Nice pickup by Cheese there behind enemy lines. We'll move to flank these units in green cover with the flamethrower and G43s. That squad's already going to retreat. Huge flame burst right there. That squad retreats after falling a little bit low, though, to guards in this green cover position. This squad's not going to last much longer either. Thanks for the follow stack. Thanks for the follow stack. What did I just say? I said something else. Scout car pulls back. It's at about half health. Conscripts moving up to take control of the victory point over here on the left side. And Barton still has a very strong position over here on the right and getting quite close to his Collins. He's probably going to have to start floating manpower a little bit, but he hasn't actually bled that much in engagements. Most of his squad's getting away with a decent amount of squad members remaining. Or just getting wiped. And you can't reinforce a wiped squad. Although you can replace it, which he has. So, a little expensive. Combat engineers maintain vision in this building. Guards maintain a weak position in this building with not that much health remaining. But clearly, if anybody's struggling for manpower, it is Cheese, who is also struggling for fuel and doesn't have what he needs to get a Tiger on the field yet. And he's going to have to operate without a Tiger against double T-34s for quite some time, which will prove difficult.
We are as ready as we can be. Aim fire on these positions.
Infantry fire incoming!
Objective secured. We will defend it to the death.
PTRSs are sniping those Grenadiers hard. Half-track moves up to reinforce them on the front line.
Supply sector under attack.
A huge heavy mortar hit could be disastrous. Guards do drop a weapon. Flamethrower also gets dropped. Grenade is off target and doesn't hit anything. Thanks for the follow, Nyko's man. Heavy mortar still not really hitting anything, despite this blob of Grenadiers being dangerously positioned for that heavy mortar to inflict catastrophic damage. So far, nothing is quite connected. Barton trying to engage at range from a position in yellow or green cover. That was the heavy mortar he was waiting for, and that Grenadier squad gets wiped. Mark vehicle apparently on the scout car for whatever reason, and the plane gets shot down, but it will not hit anything, fortunately. Wow, these heavy mortar hits are starting to be very on target. That's so much manpower bleed for Cheese. His manpower is just constantly at like 30 throw-mo per show. Thank you for the follow. Here comes the T-34, and that's the game apparently. Pretty sure Cheese just surrendered. Yep, there he goes. That's the game. Cheese knows he's not going to get a Tiger out in time, and that these T-34s are going to annihilate all of his remaining forces here on the left side. So Barton will take game one with 474 victory points remaining, and Cheese will have to top that. A better than 474 victory point Allied victory on Angoville in game two. Let's see if he can do it.